Hey Bachelor Nation, what's up? It's Olivia. So today we are going to do another recap slash thoughts of last night's episode of The Bachelor. It was a very dramatic episode. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I hope you guys did too. So let's get started. This week Ari had a one-on-one date with Lauren and then two group dates. Two very different group dates. Before we get into the dates, I just want to say, my dad watched the episode with us last night and he has watched my recaps of it. And he was like, Chelsea's not crazy, Chelsea's nice, and Krystal's not nice, Krystal's crazy. And I was like, okay, but you haven't seen the last 2 weeks because Krystal was nice last week, started getting possessive at the end, and Chelsea was crazy, and they're just not showing her all tonight. So even though I don't think either of them is right for Ari, I do think they are still gonna go quite a long way. So, first group date, he took a bunch of girls to do WWE wrestling stuff. Can you say what a horrible group date? So I felt so bad for the girls who were laughing and just really uncomfortable, and then the other ladies were evil to them and yelling at them and pulling their hair and stuff. And the thing is, all they had to say, and of course I know they cut and paste and all that stuff, but the ladies just had to say okay, we're gonna teach you these moves and then you need to act to it, instead of getting up in their face and bullying them basically and then saying, what, your mom doesn't know how to spell your name? I honestly thought it was way out of line. I don't blame Tia and Bibiana at all for going off to the side for a minute, because I did feel like that was very intense and very uncalled for. I will say Tia is growing on me. I think she's really cute. I think she's nice. I really like her. Still don't think she's right for Ari, but I could see her as potential bachelorette material for next year. And then with Bibiana, she has been a great cast member this season. I really enjoyed her. But that is my first prediction to come true, by the way. In week 1, I said Bibiana's gonna last 2 more weeks and get kicked off, and that's what happened. But yeah, I thought she was really sweet when she was going up to Tia and okay, let's just do this, let's do it together, let's try to have fun with it. But I honestly thought that group date sucked, especially compared to the next group date, which was all about dogs and training dogs, which yeah, sign me up for that. Let me play with some poodles for a bit. I feel like we can't truly start talking about this group date until we talk about Annaliese. Poor Annaliese. If you remember last week, she was one that was traumatized by the bumper cars as a child, and did not like the whole derby thing. And now this week she goes on the dog date and is traumatized by dogs, which is really sad because you would think, oh, he's trying to give her the easier date, not as intense, and who knows, she maybe would have thrived at WWE, but she probably had a traumatic experience from wrestling as well. And I don't think it's funny that she had a traumatic experience, but the way the producers did it was so horrible and so funny. I think they did cross the line on that, especially at the end of the episode when she was sent home. When they were playing the credits, they did another little montage of a small child scared and a dog baring its teeth, and I think that was over the line too far, because she clearly you know, had a bad experience. And it's funny at one point, but to keep on doing it after she's been sent home. But yeah, the whole Annaliese thing was just painful. I feel so bad for her, especially because at the end she was I'm never gonna find love, blah blah blah. And I don't know, honestly, if you're 31 and this is your last resort on the show, I don't know, that's just devastating. And okay, I know I'm skipping around right now, but okay, shouldn't he, if he didn't feel it, just send her home right away? It was so awkward at the group date. I thought she was gonna go home then, and then she's oh, maybe I can repair it with the cocktail party, blah blah blah. And then that was a disaster. So I'm glad that she went and was do you see something with us or not? And then he said no and took her away. But he should have said something sooner, in my opinion. And then since he was only sending one person home with the rose ceremony, which I feel in the past, for the first couple weeks, they sent home 5 or 6 girls a week. So I don't know what's going on only sending 3 girls home, because there definitely are there were several that still can go home. I don't know, maybe they needed a couple more weeks of footage or something. But if I was in that position and I was only sending one person out of 15 or whatever home, wouldn't you take that person aside before the rose ceremony and speak to them, be sorry, I don't want to embarrass you, do this in front of everybody, but I'm not feeling it, whatever. Cause I think that was horrible to do that to Bibiana, to just to embarrass her, to humiliate her. It's no fun being the one singled out and doing it by a countdown. I just thought it was really, really cruel. And I think Ari, I don't think he meant to be cruel. I think he's just a little oblivious sometimes. And so, I don't know, I just feel Chris should have been by the way, you don't have to do a rose ceremony. You can talk to them beforehand. How sad was it also that Bibiana did this whole setup outside and then every other person got to use that setup except for her? That was sad. Back to the group date, I think Chelsea needs to be a little bit careful with how often she plays the mom card. And by that, like, so when she was talking to ARIE after the whole dog training thing, she was like, well, you know, like today was really rough for me because like we were playing with dogs at a playground with kids and I miss my kids. Like she kept saying it to like make sure that like he got that she was saying like I miss my kids, like I'm a mom. And she kept saying like, oh, but I know this is important, I know how serious you are about this, like blah blah blah. And so I don't know, I think she needs to be careful with that, because if she keeps on saying that, then I feel like pretty soon he's gonna be like, you know what, I can't guarantee you're gonna be in my top 2, I don't want to keep you from your son, like maybe you should just go home now. Rather than like, yeah, like I have time to do this, like yeah, I miss my kid, but like this is really important to me and I'm willing to stay here as long as it takes to, you know, see if this works out. So I think she needs to kind of take a step back with the whole I'm a mom, I miss my child thing, this is really important to me, blah blah blah. Becca is still my favorite, not young Becca. I think young Becca is Becca M and the Becca I'm talking about is Becca K. I'm just gonna refer to them as Becca and young Becca. But Becca is still like my top. I think they fit together really, really well. I think they're a nice pair. I hope she sticks around. I hope that he sees that and isn't blinded by like Krystal or Chelsea, because that is what always happens. They always end up in the final 2 with like the girl they should pick and then the girl that captures their attention for the moment, and they pick that one and it ends in a sloppy divorce and it's never good. They actually never get married. They just break up like right after the show. So yeah, I hope that he still sees that like Becca K is like the one for him. Then Becca M, young Becca, oh my god, you're intimidated by me because you know that I don't need you, blah 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 blah. Like I don't know, like would someone actually say that to someone? I don't know, I thought that was a little bit weird. But she has a one-on-one date next week, so I'm really excited to see if she actually like tells him like how old she is and how he reacts to that, and if it is just gonna be like, okay, I acknowledge that but I still like you, so I'm gonna keep you till final 4 or whatever happens. I think it's gonna be the exact same as Dean as last year. Guys, what is up with Krystal? Okay, so she was like fine at first, right? Like a top pick, and then last week after the one-on-one date, then she got like super like protective and territorial at the cocktail party for the rose ceremony. I did not think that was cool to keep interrupting. Then last night she was being so condescending to everybody, and like I get it that she's like, oh, like I think we have the strongest relationship here, blah blah blah, but like giving advice like everyone else, or like I don't know, just not being sensitive when like, you know, that girl's friend went home. And again, the fact that she said, girls don't like me, girls don't bring their boyfriends around me, I have problems getting along with girls, that is a huge red flag. This has happened in the past. I want to say Courtney from Ben's season. Ben was a vineyard owner in Sonoma. I feel like she said the same thing, and the whole time it was like, red flag, red flag, red flag, nobody likes her, nobody likes her. She's a completely different person when she's not in front of you on a date, in front of the cameras. And instead of picking, I don't remember who his next choice was, because I think Tinley was with Jason Muzzing. Whoever his next choice was like a really good one. I feel like the same thing happened with Jake, the pilot, who chose Vienna over whatever other girl was like perfect and sweet and kind. Because here's the thing, all the girls this season seem pretty nice. Like when that one girl, I don't know her name, I'm not even gonna bother learning it because she's not gonna be top 4, but when she finally like got her kiss, the other girls were like, oh, like were you sitting up, were you laying down, oh that's so sweet. Like they like surprisingly very kind in that kind of situation, because that would be just a really weird situation, but they're all like really good friends and like they seem like kind, welcoming, open people. And so the fact that you can't get along with those people, I think it's a red flag. Trying to get a gauge on like who's gonna go further and who's gonna get kicked off soon based on how much airtime each woman gets. By the way, did you notice that several times Becca, young Becca, Krystal, and Chelsea were all like sitting on the couch at the same time? Like, I don't know, I just thought it was funny because it's like, yeah, the top 4 picks, like the ones with the strongest relationships with him are like all hanging out. I thought that was interesting. But based on like airtime and stuff, who I think is gonna get kicked off next. Possibly Marique, Cien. Cien's awesome. She's a Yale graduate, but he went and like pulled her aside and talked to her, and they didn't show any of it, which was a little bit weird. I don't know how long Brittany's gonna stay around, because again, she got no airtime tonight. Kendall, the taxidermy girl, I think she's gonna get kicked off next week. I think she'll get kicked off soon, because unless he's really cool with that, I don't know. I would not be. Yeah, I think like, let's see, I think Mikkel, Lauren B, Jenna, and Caroline, they got some airtime, but I still feel like they're way far behind, I guess. So yeah, I still definitely put like Becca K, Becca M, Krystal, Chelsea. I'd put Jacqueline. I don't know. I just like her. I think she's gonna go a couple more weeks. I think Tia will go a couple more weeks. That was really sweet when he like pulled out the hay bells and like all of that stuff, and he was really kind to her on the group date, but still I don't think it's gonna like work between them. I haven't talked about Lauren's date at all, have I? So yeah, Lauren, she seemed nice. Like, I never seen her before last night, but yeah, she seemed nice, and like that's really cool that they got to go to Napa. I love Napa and the vineyards. I think it is so incredibly pretty. So I'm glad they got to go, but then I did feel bad for her, because I feel like if she hadn't talked so much and babbled on and rambled and like kept talking about herself and actually asked him questions, I feel like she would have gotten a rose. So I just feel really bad about that, because she did seem nice, she did seem genuine and kind, and like they would possibly be a good match because the age difference was a lot closer, and I feel like they were in like the same stage in life. But oh god, that was really painful when they had to end up like cutting and like doing a time lapse, and then like he was just eating and like not talking at all. That was really painful. And then seeing her behind the scenes when she's like, I need this to work, like I'm not being myself, I don't know why I'm not being myself, and then I get sent home. That was painful. The Annaliese situation was really painful. I feel really, really bad for her. I blame ARIE a little bit, because I feel like he should just sent her home. And then yeah, taking out Bibiana like by herself. But yeah, there's 15 ladies left. I wonder how many they're gonna kick off each week, because I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I see 9 that can be like kicked off now. Can we just be at final 6 already? I don't know how they're gonna do it. They're going to Tahoe next week. Really excited to see Becca M's, young Becca's one-on-one date. We'll see what goes on there. But I thoroughly enjoyed this week of The Bachelor. It's very dramatic. Krystal's personality is getting a little bit worrisome, so I'm wondering if he's gonna like leave her on an island rather than Chelsea. But again, it might be a situation where she gets to top 2, because he doesn't see how she interacts with the other girls. Oh, also wanted to say, Bibiana kind of mentioned Krystal in one of her talks with ARIE, like, she really bothered me, like blah blah blah. Whenever they do that, that's the person that gets sent home. Like, even if this person is crazy, like, if person B is crazy, if person A, person C, whoever talks to ARIE about it, they're the ones being sent home. Like, it doesn't matter. It's every single time. That is what happens. So these ladies need to learn to ask him questions, talk about themselves. Don't talk about the other girls. Not at all. Even if he asks how it is, you can say stressful or good or whatever, but don't give details. So, but those are my thoughts for this week's Bachelor. I think the show looks so much fun to like edit and produce and like all that stuff, but I do think the producers went too far this week with Annaliese. Anyway, please give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Comment below your thoughts on this show. Make sure to subscribe to my channel. I will see you guys next week with another review of how their dates in Tahoe went. Okay, have a great week, guys. Bye.